So, trans athletes are to be banned from future Olympics. According to the Olympic Council going forward, due to science, trans athletes are to be banned from participating in women's Olympics. You could phrase this slightly different to say they finally decided to say men can't compete against women in the Olympics. But hey, look, that's a whole other story. The thing is that they've based this all on science, whether it's what we've been saying for, probably the last 4 or 5 years since this whole wokey-cokey shit has been invented. And they will turn around to you and say, but no, we needed science. And we were going, no, I think your man who just bench pressed about 400% more than the previous woman's bench lifting weight, is that not a sign? No? All right, okay. How about your man that kicked the living shit out of your woman in the boxing ring for the world to see? Is that not? No, not science. Okay, I tell you what. How about his cock? Is that not good enough? No, you needed science to turn around and say what the entire world has known. You see, we got so entrenched in this wokeness that people were afraid to stand up and call out what we all knew was right in the first place. Hence, what we have seen before, and hopefully now what it looks like we are going to see going forward, which incredibly is fucking normality, which is the way it always used to be. But I don't want you to read the headline and think that that's the story. I want you to zoom all the way back out. Come way, way back and see what exactly it is that's happening. And it will give you the understanding as to why the woke and the extreme left are panicking, are attacking, are fighting, are shouting and screaming. Why are they gone into overdrive in the last 12 months? Simply put, because they know the game is up. Full stop. And when you turn around and think, listen, shouting and screaming and standing up for what's right doesn't work, it does. It might take longer than we'd all wish for, but it does. When people turn around and put their names and their necks on the line to turn around and say, this is bollocks, I don't care what you call me. This is absolute nonsense and it needs to be stopped. You just need for more and more people to stand up and people to become a little bit more brave, for them to turn around and go, enough, this is enough. Ultimately, it's because, very, very simple, age-old story of follow the money. We've seen Bud Light and countless other products and companies that have gone down the woke route, and people need to understand they were being paid to do that. You were getting bonus points in the world of marketing. Governments were saying we need to give a certain amount of money to this DEI nonsense that's out there. Have this in your video, have that, have this person represent your product, and we will benefit you and we will give you all kinds of grants to do this. But they didn't realize that by taking that piece of money from over there, they lost the money that was over there because people just went, this is absolute shit. Even mates of mine that are gay are turning around kind of going, we are so sick shit of this. For obvious reasons, because it was 24/7 rammed down your throat. What changed? What stopped all this? Yes, shouting and screaming worked. Yes, Trump coming in and putting an end to the financing of it is a massive kick in the balls. But, well, excuse the pun, but ultimately it was because it was simply never right. Never right at all. And I'm not saying that flippantly because I do understand there is a tiny percentage of people that do need a little bit of care and respect, that do fall into a certain category. But sticking on a dress and trimming your beard does not make you a woman. And when you think about it, when you really think about it, the absolute disrespect that society has shown to your mom, to your granny, to your aunt, your wife, your sister, your niece, or any woman on this planet over the last number of years is off the fucking charts. That hopefully, in time, when they look back on history, they will turn around and say, how in the name of God was that allowed? How did society allow this movement to destroy, to absolutely piss on, and to completely disrespect the entire female race of the entire planet? Because that's exactly what happened. But now, this monumental shift is currently taking place, hence them going nuts, the left, and going absolutely crazy. But I want you to, again, zoom out, way out of the whole shit, so you can look back into it and understand why they did this. If I can convince you to shut your mouth when I tell you, if I put on a dress and a little bit of mascara and identify as a woman, you must fucking accept that. If I can push that mentality, if I can push that psyche across humanity and society and allow it to happen, well, then I can fucking make you do anything I say. Think about it. If I make you so scared to stand up and contradict and argue with me when I say I have my dress on, I'm a woman, if I can get you to sit down, shut up and be afraid to take me on that, I can get you to do anything. And that is very simply the entire concept of what they have tried to achieve in the last few years. Do you know why? Because their concept on how to run society, their concept on how to run an economy, their concept on how to govern or how to manage or how to make things work is so fucking flawed that the only way they could get in was to try and make you sit down, shut up, and basically bully you. And for far too long, far too many people accepted it, even though deep down they knew what they were told to accept was wrong. That this is not biologically or scientifically possible. And in order to drive this all the way home and to drive a stake through the heart of this wokeness, you gotta keep going. Simple things, simple little things. For me, anytime I see that shit on the TV, I turn it off. I don't even listen. If it's on the radio, I change the station. Because hit them exactly where it hurts, which is the financial side of things. And it ends. It absolutely ends. When they try and push this through the curriculum in school, you tell your kids that it's nonsense. You can't respect a gender that doesn't exist. Doesn't matter what they say, it doesn't exist. The only way it ends is for people to continue to drive this home. And that is exactly what the Olympic Council have done. And hopefully we see it move through every single sport, that no man can compete against a woman just because they identify as one. Anyway, as always, I go into my ramblings, but thankfully it looks like finally some form of common sense is coming back to life and coming back to the normal everyday going on of our lives. And there is a huge monumental shift, and it is a big statement. It's incredible it had to come to this, but it's incredible that the Olympic Council have now come out and turned around and said, no, no more. It might look small, but it's a monumental victory on bringing back common sense. And you might think you can't increase it or help it or drive it on, but you can. The spoil the vote concept. If I stand up and somebody else stands up and somebody else stands up and all of a sudden we all stand up, it fucking ends. Once and for all. Common sense will return to normality and the way we live our lives. That's why they're worried. That's why they're attacking. That's why they're hijacking people's businesses. That's why they're coming after you, because they've realized that the bully doesn't fucking work and they've picked on the wrong person. Because some of these people are not afraid of bullies at all, and they have no problems smacking them square in the fucking jaw. Anyway, I think it's a pretty good day. Let's hope more and more people agree. Let me know, nuts, batshit crazy, what do you think? Or do I have a point? Put it down in the comments. Is this as big as a step forward? I know it's a pain in the hole that I had to come to this, but is it finally a huge step forward in the right direction in bringing back common sense once and for all? Let me know. Love the comments.